Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you are watching this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you are, having had or are having the best Christmas that you've ever had, that you've awakened today sitting in the hope of what came, a baby boy, in the most unexpected way, but bringing with him the light of the world. I know the music that I introed this with isn't exactly the music you were expecting to hear, but it is something that is pretty poignant for this time of year. It's called the Nunc Dimittis. I know my pronunciation isn't probably correct there, but I don't think you'd get it right either. It's the fourth, really, canticle or hymn that Luke records as he's telling this birth narrative of Jesus. The first one we talked about a few weeks ago, and it was Mary's song, her Magnificat, as it's called. And then right after that, Zechariah has one, and then the angels have one with the shepherds out in the fields that we talk about all the time. It's that Gloria in Excelsis Deo, right? It's that beautiful hymn. But then there's this one, and this one is sung by a guy named Simeon. And Simeon was just a Jewish guy that we don't really know much about it, except he was there. He was ready. He was waiting for the Messiah. You see, all the people of Israel during that time were waiting for God's chosen one to come, but they all had different ideas of what that would look like. A big group of people wanted the Messiah to come as a military leader, someone who would come with this victorious strength, that the King of David's son should do this, right? Should come in and end oppression and use the force and the might and the mighty powerful hand of God to destroy their oppressors. But there were others who thought differently. There were some who sat quietly and waited patiently and felt that if they prayed enough, if they worshiped enough, if they came into the house of the Lord and lived the life that he called them to, that maybe God would enter time in a way unmistakable that would change everything. At that time, there was a man in Jerusalem named Simeon. He was righteous and devout and was eagerly waiting for the Messiah to come and rescue Israel. The Holy Spirit was upon him and had revealed to him that he would not die until he had seen the Lord's Messiah. That day, the Spirit led him to the temple. So when Mary and Joseph came to present the baby Jesus to the Lord as the law required, Simeon was there. He took the child in his arms and praised God, saying, "Sovereign Lord, now let your servant die in peace. As you have promised, I have seen your salvation, which you have prepared for all people. He is a light to reveal God to the nations, and he is the glory of your people, Israel." Jesus' parents were amazed at what was being said about him. Then Simeon blessed them, and he said to Mary, "This child is destined to cause many in Israel to fall, but he will be a joy to many others. He has been sent as a sign from God, but many will oppose him. As a result, the deepest thoughts of many hearts will be revealed, and a sword will pierce your very soul." Those are pretty amazing words, aren't they? I mean, if you just take his hymn portion of it, it's pretty powerful, and I'll get to that in a second. But he follows it up with these kind of a gut punch to Joseph and Mary, don't you think? I mean, sure, he starts out by giving them a blessing. It says that he blesses Joseph and Mary, but then he looks at Mary, this baby whom he's holding's mommy, and he gives her these words that are really kind of hurtful, dark, depressing. I mean, he speaks of like that from this guy, from this baby, many people are going to follow. And essentially, there's going to be a lot of darkness that comes around him. And he was right. And he is right. That there's a lot of people who don't know Jesus and have turned away from him, have turned their back on him, and have fallen because of it. But his hymn points to the fact that they weren't supposed to, or they didn't have to, that his light came to shine for all the nations to reveal God. He's the glory. See, on this Christmas day, I don't know if you're surrounded with family and friends or what you're doing, and hopefully you're having a great time and you're just taking a few minutes out of your day to watch this for whatever reason. Maybe to see my little friend out of the corner of my shoulder here. But I hope in the state of where we are today, you remember the light that's shining. Malachi prophesied to this, that the glory of God would come into his temple. And here's this moment when one of the prophecies is coming true. And here's the glory. And here's this man, Simeon, that we don't know anything about, except that he knew when he saw Jesus. It was like, and this is going to be a really random stretch, the time I got to see Michael Jordan play basketball in person. I know, you totally saw that segue coming, didn't you? It was unbelievable. It was watching him go up and down the court was different than anything I had ever seen or have seen since. And I don't want to get into a conversation with my son about who the GOAT is, but it's MJ. And when you see that, it's just like, everything else is an imitation. I think Simeon walked into the temple that day and he came the same way he did every day, expecting to see the GOAT, expecting to see the Messiah. And that day he did. He was ready. And yes, there was this cloud of darkness that was that he saw would come, and he prophesied and told Mary, hey, heads up, Mary, because this is going to get tough. And it did. He said, but the power that exists in this one is greater than the darkness of the world. All the other prophecies point to this. The whole gospel story, what Luke is doing is he sets up chapter 2 and he tells us the birth of this little baby Jesus. He sets it out right here. But everything is going to change because of him. The darkness that exists in the world cannot overcome the light that comes from this baby. Today, as we celebrate Christmas, as we remember the birth of Jesus, let us remember that no matter where we are in our journey with him, no matter where we are in our journey in life, no matter what the world is throwing at us, the darkness of the world cannot overcome the light of the glory of Israel, the light of Christ. I hope this day you are surrounded with loved ones, maybe digitally or maybe just through memories. But I hope you remember that the light of Jesus is with you. I hope you have the greatest Christmas that you've ever had, and a great and happy New Year. Merry Christmas, everyone. God bless.